Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two trucks having sex. Two trucks having sex. My muscles involuntarily flex. Two pickup trucks making love, American made.
Listen up, auto thoughts in the Pacific country. Listening to Prime Cuts and Online History, the Transformers and Nero.
I'm your other host, Audrey. This is the energy we're bringing for you folks tonight.
It keeps
It's been
going.
Just 2 weeks of hiatus, right?
2 weeks of
feels
sweet,
like longer.
Sweet...
This one was not like riding a bicycle. This felt like being dragged over hot coals.
Energon...
I did not just get back on and be okay. It was fine. I was not okay watching these.
I don't understand how the show is still happening. It feels like
it's not. Hey,
it feels like an accident.
Hey, literally, the show isn't like there's nothing happening anymore.
Yeah. We watched episodes 41 to 43 of Energon / 42, 43, and special of Transformers Superlink. Yeah, it's gonna get
worse.
It's gonna get weird. You were in the Mediterranean. You had that seemed great, right? That's a cool.
It was lovely. Yeah. I did a really cool dive. I did my first cave dive. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm a certified diver. And did my first cave dive. That was great. Way cooler than this shit.
Episode 41, Galvatron. I don't know. Okay. Number one problem. Why is this episode called Galvatron?
I don't know. I was literally hoping that you would have some insight for me there because there's baffling.
No insight. The Japanese title is a sinking, the Miranda 2, which is the event that actually occurs. I don't know. Did they fuck it up? Did they forget to call the one where Galvatron shows up Galvatron? I don't know. Here's the summary. With Galvatron's Enstinkification of Cybertron complete, the Autobots are forming a plan to take down the Super Energon pipelines. This plan involves dropping Kicker and a bunch of Omnicons out the back of the Miranda 2. Also, Superion is there, and being very awkward. While Rad and the Joneses attempt to have a spot of dinner whilst being surrounded by the enemy, Six Shot informs Galvatron that he has figured out a way to move the planet via Super Energon. Galvatron is jazzed as hell and demand that they fly to Alpha Q's stupid little star system so he can finish destroying them. When someone points out that without a sun, it'll probably just die on its own anyway, Galvatron tells them to shut up. The Autobots are all pretty...
Starscream.
Yes, of course it is. The Autobots are all pretty concerned about Cybertron suddenly moving on its own and hurry to keep up. This causes them to show up on the radar, and Six Shot takes the chance to kill Optimus via huge space laser. Galvatron is extremely pissed that Six Shot just attempted to win the war, and thus deny him his stupid grudge match against Optimus, and beats the shit out of him before flying out to attack the Miranda 2 anyway. Cue a big fight on the ship. This is cut short by Six Shot deciding actually fuck Galvatron and blasting the Miranda 2 anyway, shooting it out of orbit. Optimus and Cliff Jumper make sure to launch the infiltration team before setting the Miranda 2 on one final course. Galvatron beats the shit out of Six Shot, who cries about it. The Miranda 2 is now a monument sticking out of Cybertron's surface. Inspiring, I guess. What the fuck is going on?
I love the Six Shot following in his brother's path of just getting his character completely assassinated.
He's trying to win the fucking war.
And also he was like pretty cool and strong in the last couple episodes, and now he cries so much. He cries because
okay, to be
fucking
fair,
Snowcat is mean to him.
To be fair, that is really a point where you've hit rock bottom in your life if Snowcat's owning you. That's like that's no good.
I was literally, what are you doing? Like, what is happening here?
Everything is just falling the fuck apart. Galvatron is okay. We've talked about the sliding scale of dumbass Megatron-ry, right? Like, depending on the
Right.
series, Megatron can be
Right.
either like an actual threat or a complete fucking joke.
Yeah.
Energon Megatron has now become a total fucking idiot. Like, all he cares about is having his big dumb fight with Optimus, and he only cares about that to the detriment of literally everything else.
I mean, like, it works out, though, because Optimus is equally stupid
Yes.
in the show.
Yeah.
Like,
Also,
it's not like the Autobots have any good ideas.
That's
They're
true.
all morons, too.
their plan. Do they ever?
Literally, Omega Supreme is the only one with half a brain at this point.
Absolutely,
Omega
he's
Supreme
holding the
being
team
like,
together.
Omega Supreme's like, we should not do this, actually. And literally, it is Optimus 80%, it is 80% of the time Optimus going, shut the fuck up, Omega Supreme, and the other 20% it's Rodimus doing it instead.
Yeah, their big plan. By the way, do they ever offer an explanation for why the gas hurts them in the dub?
Nope, it's some kind of numbing gas. Or maybe they did.
Because
I have caveat
here's-
on all of this for this one, because we know that I'm easily distracted while watching this show. I had to get my shower fixed today. It was fully blocked up. So I had my plumber in here, like, drilling in my bathroom while I was watching these episodes. So if I missed something, sorry about it. I had to get a rust blockage out of my drain.
The only explanation that they offer in the sub is that it's Destron colored gas. It's green. That's it. It's green
Sorry,
and stinky, and it hurts them because it's evil colored.
But it doesn't do anything to Kicker.
Yeah, because they're immune to Energon, I guess. Like, Kicker and the Omnicons are immune. But if an Autobot touches the geen gas, the stinky.
God. All right. Let's talk about some of these things. I have some fucking notes. Okay.
Yeah.
I have opinions. One of as I mentioned, talking about Six Shot earlier, one of the funniest things about this episode in general is Demolisher, Snowcat, and Mirage becoming the Chucklefuck brothers. Truly,
Yes.
like these guys, these are the Blowjob brothers for real now. Like genuinely in the dub, pretty indistinguishable from like the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
At this point. But what is so they're like, okay, we have like this blood bond with each other. It's like forged in the fields of stupidity and battle. Like we got each other, bro. But so all they can do is like try to like blow off steam on the other people. They first try to do it with Starscream. They just seem to realize in this episode for the first time that Starscream is the second in command. which is really like literally there's an entire conversation between Demolisher and Snowcat at the beginning of the episode being like, hasn't it seemed like Starscream's been like cozying up to Galvatron lately? It's like, where have you guys been? Like,
literally been
like,
glued
this
to
has
his
been-
fucking hip, but like day one, you idiots.
yeah, like this has been the MO since Megatron brainwashed him. Like, what are you talking about? They also, as I said before, all three of them, you know what it reminded me of? All I can think of, is the Lady Tremaine and the stepsisters, like, mocking Cinderella as they go to the ball. Like, that's all I can think about. So the three of them, like, on the way out, like, Six Shot is told to, like, stay because he's, you know, trying to win the war too hard or whatever. So he's, like, left behind. And they're literally like, yeah, idiot, stay here. And they, like, all just do that in a row. And then Six Shot goes, and it's like, are you serious? What happened to you, dude?
Yeah, so
You can't be crying over fucking Snowcat. Jesus.
Six-Shot is like supposed to be Shock Blast's like timid yet smart brother. He's like elite hacker. But yeah, in this one he mostly exists to get bullied by literally
like,
everybody else.
I don't know, like that has not been made clear. That was not made clear in his character prior to this. Like, this was not a timid character. This
it's
was
way more clear in Superlink probably because like he has a very nerdy voice.
Okay,
in
yeah.
Superlink.
I mean, it is like in the previous episodes, he's just like, I just want to kill the people who killed my brother, and I don't really give a shit about anything else. Like, there's nothing to suggest that he's like, but he's like,
Yeah.
like out of nowhere, of nothing, and I'm like, okay.
Also, there's another added layer of bullying in Superlink. None of them actually call him Six Shot; they just call him Little Brother. And he keeps trying to say, my name is Six Shot, and they just ignore him. They just call him Little Brother. Because he's Shockblast's little brother.
Great.
Can we I want to talk about another incredible, like, this dude sucks thing. Okay. So we recently got a new addition to the Autobot team. Superion. He's here, right? I don't know if they do this in the dub. In Superlink, there's a running gag of everyone forgetting Superion's name and going like, thanks for saving me. And then there's a pause and he goes, Superion. It's like, yeah, Superion. That's it.
Now I could have missed the full extent of this. There might be some of it, actually, because I do remember people like saying, oh wait, you're Superion, right?
Yeah. And also every line out of him that isn't someone going like, what's your name again? Is him going like, gee, it sure is nice to have friends. That's it. That's literally all he says. He either gets like, someone goes, I don't remember your name, or him going, friends. It's so nice to have them. Why?
Sucks so much.
Are these fucking characters even here?
I mean, to sell toys, but it is genuinely infuriating how much they just do not care at this point. All right, what else do I got here? Can we talk about the dinner?
Yeah.
Hey,
what the fuck is wrong with all of these people? All of them. The Joneses are just
Kicker?
fucked.
Hey, you know what? Kicker's actually the only normal one. Sally might be there might be time to save Sally.
We have to get her out of there. You're right.
Yeah, there might be. Sally's on the line. I think if we got her away from the parents, they might be okay. Dr. and Mrs. Jones are fucked in the head.
They're fucking lost it.
Mrs.
For a reminder to everyone listening, because it's been a little bit. Currently, Red, Dr. Jones, Miranda, and Sally are trapped in Autobot Command. They're like hiding. Because the Decepticons have conquered Cybertron pretty much. Although there's some stuff about like, well, there's Autobot resistance in the Southern Hemisphere or whatever. That doesn't matter. They're surrounded by fucking Krulok drones. They're basically in that one sequence of Jurassic Park. And Rad is being like, hey guys, we need to figure out how to not get killed by dinosaurs. And everyone else is like, nah man, we gotta eat some stew.
Rad, I have to say, the voice acting work on Rad in this scene is actually phenomenal because like Miranda's like fucking gone. Like she's like a Stepford wife in this scene. There is something deeply unwell with her.
Right.
And like everyone else is like continuing on it. Like this feels like a horror movie. Like this feels like you've sat down to dinner. You've come out of the rain and they were so nice and they invited you to dinner, and then there was like a horrible shrieking noise somewhere and you're the only person who acknowledges it at all at the dinner table. Like that's what it feels like. And Rad has this like laugh like in the middle of it where he's like looks so uncomfortable and like sounds so uncomfortable. It's actually quite funny.
Rad is basically trapped in what was it, 24 Cloverfield Lane or whatever. Like he's in that movie right now.
Yeah. Now
which I think means Dr. Jones is going to kill him and melt him in a barrel of acid.
Yeah, or Miranda for that matter. It could be either one of them. Now, speaking of the Joneses, I have a question. How did Kicker fall out? Hey,
Don't
how did
ask questions.
Kicker fall out of that ship?
They just have the cargo hold of the Miranda 2 hanging open like it's the back of a fucking overstuffed SUV, and they just fall. Everyone's just falling out of it.
So how did that happen? How did they fall out? If it's open space, there's no gravity. Hey, how did Kicker?
Okay.
I'm looking you directly in the eye. How did Kicker fall out of the Miranda 2?
We know that this show struggles to understand what space is. We've endured plenty of scenes of cars driving on empty space. Like it just doesn't matter anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it just works like space is actually just the air, and if you fall out the airlock.
I have
on a motorcycle.
I have a 2-part note for this because Kicker starts falling, and I literally put down because I wasn't sure if I was missing something, right? Totally possible it could have been. So I was like, okay, wait, what is Kicker falling out of? And then it shows him in space, and my next note is all caps, fucking huh?
It is. It really doesn't. There's really not. Like the Miranda 2 gets shot and everyone just falls at the back.
It's indescribable. It is indescribable.
He is doing an orbital insertion drop. He's doing a fucking halo jump on the back of a motorcycle.
He does do. I will say, next episode he does do some pretty cool things on a motorcycle.
We'll
get there. We'll get there.
Oh my. Is there anything else?
Oh,
what other notes do you have?
Yes, I have 2 more notes. Which is that as the Miranda 2 is being fired on by Six Shot, there's much concern. To which Kicker replies, "The ship was named after my mom, and trust me, it can take more than you think."
Oh no! Jeez.
Again, this ship was named after my mom, and trust me, it can take more than you think.
Something. The darkness. Dr. Jones needs to die. He's gotta go. Something's wrong. There's a fucking evil. And this is he makes Rad jump down an elevator shaft next episode.
Oh yeah. My note for that is, and then their knees shattered.
Like, forget knees shattered. That shit goes all the way down to the core. They are red paste.
Yeah.
What the this? I mean, I have stopped ever discussing any fights in these summers because they're all just the same.
They suck.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I've several ways that I guess you could interpret that, but none of them are good.
No, none of them are good at all. The ship crashes. It's like sticking out of the ground, and it's inspiring, I guess.
Oh, well, on the way down, so I guess after he falls out of the spaceship, I don't know. I may have missed this part when the plumber was here. But
yeah, he falls out and
rides RC down.
Yeah, he does cool bike stunts to land.
Yeah, so he rides RC down, who is really annoyed by the amount of noise he's making.
Stop yelling.
Really. No, literally, he keeps trying to tell her stuff, and she's like, "Shut up, Kicker! Shut up, Kicker!" To eventually, she says, "Can the yapping and let me concentrate." To which Kicker responds with, "Ah! Ah! Ah!
I mean, I can't blame him. He's literally doing, once again, orbital jump on the back of a motorcycle through poison energon gas.
Yeah, well, it's fine. He's fine.
He's fine. It doesn't matter for him.
So is RC. None of this matters. This is so stupid. I hate
the Omnicons are just immune to energon.
Yeah.
Can we? So
selective. Very selective poison gas.
There's a thing. There's a very funny bit when one more little thing when it shows the command center that Galvatron has taken over. Somebody has very poorly crossed out the Autobot symbol with green paint. It's off center. Someone just did that. I bet it was Demolisher.
Or Snowcat.
And yeah,
That's it. That's all I got.
That's the episode.
Just a lot of anger. A lot of anger over some of the things that happened in that episode.
The next one is the shortest fucking summary I've written for any episode so far. Episode 42 of Energon, or 43 of Superlink. Breakthrough or Keep Going Omnicons. In what is perhaps our most boring episode in a while, we spend most of our time with Bruticus and Devastator attempting to hunt down a cell of Autobot generics, while Kicker and the Omnicons sabotage a pipeline to let Team Prime onto the planet. There are barely any events of note, other than Rad and Dr. Jones flinging themselves down an elevator shaft to Primus after being cornered by Terracrons. That's pretty funny. For some fucking reason, the tension-building cliffhanger is whether or not Optimus and company will meet up with goddamn Wingsaber. Who cares? Why is he there? Did he forget? Why is he? I forgot. He's still on Cybertron because Optimus got a new power-up. He doesn't need Wingsaber anymore.
Yeah, I don't want to play with these anymore.
We spend too much time looking at Autobot generics in this episode. They all look like shit.
Here, you want to know what the real issue is? It's not just that that it is like 20 of the same model on the screen at the same time. It's that they all move perfectly in sync, layered on top of each other. It's like some StarCraft looking ass shit. Like when you have all of your Zerglings in a row.
Yeah.
And then they just line up together and move as one. That's what it looks like. It looks bad. Or I guess like maybe like some of the Terran stuff would be more appropriate since those are more mech heavy, but you know what I mean.
This shit. There's a whole thing about like they see the Miranda 2 and they're like, oh, Prime's here, we gotta call in him, but they don't know that he's not actually there. They fucking like launch a thing, a bunch of them die. Then there's the Wingsaber stuff. There's like it's like a side quest almost. This fucking pipeline shit that Kicker is on. They talk about like, well, we have to freeze the pipeline. We can't just blow it up. We got to stop the flow of the gas. And then that opens up a hole in the gas, but it doesn't actually. And so when they signal for the Team Prime, Ironhide's like, I saw it, there it is. But then when they get there, the hole is still shut. They're like, are you stupid, Ironhide? He's like, no, I saw it. And then they blow up an Energon tower to make another big hole. And they fly through.
Yeah, I only have a couple other comments for this one. Shocking.
Shockblast tries to end the war again. Galvatron gets mad. Excuse me, not Shockblast, Six Shot. They're such distinct characters.
My other notes were that at some point the two of them get really bored. Constructicon and Bruticus get really bored, so they're like, hey, let's do like target practice, but they just choose the Miranda 2, which is a huge ass spaceship, so it's less target practice and more just like wanton destruction.
Yeah, they're shooting at a big broken pile of metal.
Yep.
Yeah, so the only other note I have, so number one, the thing where Dr. Jones and Rad jumped out, they're looking for Primus. They're trying to figure out where Primus is. It's like, well, he's at he's like, you kind of know where he is. He's at the core.
Yeah, we talk to him on Thursdays.
We video conference with God every other fucking Wednesday, guys. Come on. They just jump down a big. It doesn't show what happens to them either. They just jump down a hole. Yeah.
Into a bottomless pit.
Yeah, there's and then we cut inside to the shelter, and Sally's looking outside and is like, oh my god, there's so many fucking Krulocks crawling around there, Mom. I'm nervous. What happened to Rad and Dad? And Miranda just says, don't worry, let's bake cookies.
She's so crazy. And like, and Sally's so like
fucking lost
Mom,
it.
Mom, why would we do that? And she's like, well, like, it always makes me think of your father. It's like, what?
What is happening? What is happening in this family?
Um,
Yeah, and then so the other thing, there's this one of the main characters of this episode somehow is some random yellow generic Autobot guy.
and all 20 of his clones.
Yeah, although to be fair, not all of them look the same. They're all very ugly combinations of like the same 6 models split apart. I definitely saw Padlock in the background again. He keeps showing up. But for some reason, this yellow guy that they focus on for a lot of the episode, in Superlink, they gave him an extremely obnoxious falsetto.
Oh,
I don't know
good.
why.
Good. I can't believe that this is actually something that would probably be preferable to watch in the dub.
Yeah, it would. Almost certainly.
That's crazy.
Oh,
Damn, that's crazy. My last note for this one is that I guess it'd be Hook. Constructicon like separates at some point to attack the generics, and that's when Rad and RC come to the rescue.
Oh, right, that it is notable. We actually see the combiners split apart for a little bit.
Exactly.
Also, that is not Hook. It's Wide Load. Not that it matters, because the show never treats these limbs as like their own characters.
The one with the claw?
Yeah, that's Wide Load. Would you like to know the names of these non-characters? I can tell you right now.
No, I wouldn't, but whatever, fine. Wide
the
Load,
only
then.
one of the pieces of Constructicon Maximus that shares a name with the original Constructicons is Bone Crusher. The rest are all different.
Okay, well, I'm gonna call it Hook. It's not Hook either, but like it's the closest thing to Hook. And so like RC comes ramping, comes like running down. I mean, with Kicker on top of her, and she like blasts this guy fully in the side and knocks him over like a turtle on its back, which is pretty funny. And then Kicker does a sweet ramp off of his belly, which is cool. I was like, okay, that's cool.
This episode is pointless.
That's it. Now let's talk to the good episode. I'm gonna shoot myself.
So the next episode is episode 43 of Energon. It's called Distribution.
Yep.
This is a television special, actually,
Sure.
from Superlink. This was a big special to commemorate the 500th Transformers episode broadcast in Japan. They kind of fudged the numbers a little bit to make that work, but they count a few things and discount a few things just to kind of, fudge the math. But basically,
Yeah, and I'm so glad that they got such a worthy worthy show to do it on.
So yeah, but I will say this. This episode is actually really fun in Superlink because it's literally just gags. It's just jokes. There's no... But the problem is, which is what you experience, is number one, there's no fucking context for why, and there's no context in the original either. But like, it's a special, so it's like it's listed separately from Superlink on streaming services like Tubi and stuff, or it was listed separately on the tragically dead illegal website that I used to watch this before I found an entire playlist on YouTube. But like it's very clearly marked as its
we
own
salute
thing.
you.
It's very clearly marked as its own thing. In Energon, there's just no fucking context at all. It just happens.
Sure does.
And once again, there was like a big old cliffhanger of Wing Saber. We got to get to Wing Saber. So you tune in the week after that, and it's like, hey. So I did not write down any summary because there's no fucking plot to summarize. This episode doesn't have a plot. It's just like it's a video game. It's like a fucking fighting game tournament, and it's literally just jokes. So if you don't mind, I will talk about some of the running gags that I liked from the Superlink version, and then we can talk about the fucking garbled nightmare that you watched.
Fantastic. I love that.
So the number one running joke in this episode, so Superlink has eye catch like any other anime, right? It's got like the commercial breaks, you get a character popping up saying something. There's basically an eye catch after every scene in this episode, and they all say something really stupid and inane. One of them is just Hotshot Anonymous asking if Sixshot has cat ears. There's also a gag at the beginning. So at the beginning of every Superlink episode, Optimus Prime points at the screen and says, "Hey, you, watch this in a well-lit room and far away from the screen." At the beginning of this episode, it's Galvatron who says it, and it starts in the like poorly lit green Unicron room they were in for a while. Then the lights just turn on, and Snowcat goes, "Oh shit, the lights are on."
Great.
Grand Convoy has a running gag where he keeps combining with like Wing Saber and Omega Supreme and introducing and like, "Please call me, Wing Convoy or Omega Convoy." And he keeps getting interrupted by people just calling him Grand Convoy and refusing to call him by his like combined form name, and he gets increasingly annoyed by it.
That's pretty funny, actually.
And also, Wing Saber's only dialogue in this is being extremely overenthusiastic about power linking. Like, it's like, "Oh, Optimus, Convoy, let's combine. Are we ready to combine?" And there's just a pause, and Optimus says, "Yes." Every match that Jetfire and Ironhide says, there's always like a character that Ironhide is surprised to see. And then Jetfire turns to him and says, "Don't worry, they're just part of the simulation." And Ironhide says, "Oh." And then there's a pause and Jetfire says, "I'm also a part of the simulation." He says, "What the fuck?" That happens every match. There's a part where Snowcat and Demolisher do the fusion dance. That's one of the eye catches. And they also try to power link poorly. It is literally just Demolisher holding a half transformed Snowcat above him. There's also a scene, that scene is also a fallout from the part where Wheeljack and Prowl can't decide who gets to be on top. And so they both turn into shirts, which is pretty funny. There is an actual, I don't understand why this isn't in the fucking show. All of the combiners get fully animated combination sequences. Like, you get to see, instead of just turning into balls of light and like popping together like we usually see, they actually get to combine and look cool.
God, could you imagine?
This is also the only time we ever see their central components in robot mode. It's the only time it's even like suggested that their central components have their own personalities. Galvatron and Starscream crash the program. Like, they seem to be real, but Galvatron quits midway through because he doesn't want to fight anybody who can't feel pain. So he just literally just leaves. And I should say, for anyone who didn't watch this beautiful piece of animation, this entire thing is hosted by two robot Catgirl maids. There's no explanation.
Here's the explanation. The explanation is that whoever animated this watched Metabots and Yu Yu Hakusho in the 90s and was like, "I need to do that, but worse." These are so clearly supposed to be Kodo and Juri. To the point that I almost wonder if it's like meant to be a purposeful like reference, the way some of these others are, but like these two are so clearly meant to be Kodo and Juri from Yu Yu Hakusho, and are also so clearly modeled after Metabots.
They are totally like, that is totally what they were going for. Every one of Hotshot and Rodimus's matches have the exact same structure, which is Rodimus says, "Hotshot, we can win. We have sparks and they don't. We have true beating hearts. Let's power link." And then they win. Alpha Q is Scorponok's tag team partner, and there's a very funny bit where he like walks up all fruitily and says, "We missed you, Scorpy Warpy." And Scorpion just says, "Actually, Galvatron is my master." And Alpha Q looks sad, and then he gets pushed over. There's also like, once again, Alpha Q is just narrating this from somewhere.
Yeah, the entire time. I honestly have to find. I honestly found Alpha Q's narration much more distracting in these episodes than I had before. He's like, "Oh, like, what's going on now? I'm still dead." Like, what is happening here?
It's insane. Sixshot is a fucking elite hacksaw, and he keeps hacking in the game. he like hacks people out of the game. He like makes shock blasts disappear at one point. Oh, there's a funny bit. I forgot that where, because he and Stickshot are teamed up. In their first match, they're teamed up against Inferno and Roadblock, the two Infernos. And when Stickshot goes to shake their hand, Shock Blast just kills them. And
Yeah,
Stickshot says, that's my brother.
There's a bunch of things where, like, I mean, the comedic timing on some of these shots is actually quite funny. Where it's, like, people just, like, walking or standing and then getting blasted away by things. The Unicron one is very funny.
Yes! Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's see. There's a couple more things here. So, at the end, it's Rodimus and Hotshot versus Optimus and Omega Supreme. And we get to see Omega Supreme's little headmaster guy walking around on his own. And there's a very funny bit where Optimus goes through like the extra ornate Omega Supreme combination, like stock footage. And then it reveals he accidentally ringed himself out because he went too high up and stood on the outside of the ring. Thus Rodimus and Hotshot declared the winners. And there's a very funny bit where the little Omega Supreme headmaster like pats Optimus on the shoulder. Their prize is that they get to fight Unicron.
Yes.
And at first, they're like, "Oh my god, it's Unicron!" And then it's revealed, "Oh wait, it's Tiny." And then Unicron just blasts them.
Yeah.
With a big laser.
Yeah, it's like, it's revealed as, I mean, colored obviously by the fact that I'm currently playing Birth by Sleep, but I did think of the clicking question mark at the Coliseum in Kingdom Hearts 1 for the first time, and fucking Sephiroth coming out and being like, oh no, oh, I fucked up. Yeah, I have some notes. I did as many jokes as I could think of, which ended up being just two when they combined and were two tops, or three. So one of them is I love cat dog. The second one is giving new meaning to giving head. And the third one was, and so they were both bottoms.
Like the problem is, right? Like, yeah, you can only talk about the visual gags. Because everything else, it's just lost in translation. They just fucking, like, there's a thing where whenever Sixshot does his, like, hacking thing, he like, twitches his antenna ear and goes, "Nya," like he's a cat boy.
Okay.
I assume that's not in Energon.
Not that I noticed. But, again, you really can't trust me on this one to notice, if there's specific moments that you wanted me to catch, because, again, there was a drill in my bathroom.
It's just like, it's completely baffling, and just like it just happens. And once again, the whole joke is that there's no explanation. It's just they're playing it's revealed at the end that it's basically just Rodimus and Hotshot hanging out, getting drunk, and playing Street Fighter together. Like, that's what it is.
Hell yeah, brother.
Which is like ultimate hell yeah, brother. And Kicker's just like, are they really doing this? Like, they carved out specific time to do this.
Hell yeah, brother.
It's unclear how Galvatron and Starscream got in, or Sixshot, or Demolisher and Snowcat. Oh, I forgot another funny gag where, like when Snowcat and Demolisher find Galvatron and Starscream, their opponents were the previous Cyclonus and Demolisher bodies, and Snowcat goes, "Oh my god, they beat up our old bodies," and Demolisher goes, "Our what?" Because of course Demolisher got his memory wiped and Snowcat didn't. So they actually remembered that, which is impressive. And then
else?
There's the one other gag: Mirage tag teams with Tidal Wave.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
So Ironhide sounds so unhappy to be here. That I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah. Yes.
He's just miserable being there.
I just really loved the running gag of Jetfire turning to me and goes, "By the way, I'm in the simulation too," and he just keeps going like, "Why are you telling me this? I hate this. Why are we doing this?"
Yeah. There's a great when Rodimus is fighting Rodimus and whoever he's combined power linked with. I don't even pay attention anymore. I don't know who's
hot shot.
Okay, great. Whatever. Who gives a shit? But when they're power linked and fighting against Optimus, he like punches Optimus right in the face, and Optimus goes, "Haha! Nice right hook, Rodimus." It's like, all right, great. I'm glad you did. Also, there is a point where when Optimus is fighting against Bruticus and Constructicon, where he just like jumps up into the air and does a fancy little jackass flip because he can.
Yes.
Hate that.
So that's distribution. None of it makes any sense. It's pretty funny in Superlink. It's mostly just confusing in Energon. And I have great news for us before we get into questions.
Oh boy.
There are 3 podcasts left of Transfer. Technically 4 with the season wrap up, but there's 3. We only have to watch 8 more episodes. We're almost done. We're almost through the fucking woods. But I have a feeling that the worst is yet to come.
Well, you would know, wouldn't you?
I would know.
One of us watched this show, didn't we?
When I was a kid, I watched I watched Distribution repeatedly.
I mean, I don't blame you. With context, it's a fun episode, probably.
Yeah. Like, it's just like, oh, I like to see all of the fucking, like, everybody's in this episode. It's fun. It's one of the only fun episodes of Transformers Energon. But with that, would you take us through the Discord questions?
Oh, if I must. Okay.
I simply asked people about the 3rd episode because it's really the only thing worth talking about
It's
this
true.
week.
It's true.
Other than the Joneses extremely concerning everything.
Don't worry, darling. All right, Chernock asks, what are some of your favorite tournament arcs in media? I mean, talking about Kodo and Jury, I do have to say Dark Tournament.
Battle City, I always like that one.
Yeah.
There's so many good tournament arcs out there.
I guess, yeah. It depends on how you define tournament arc, right? Like, do you define it just as a traditional, like, fighting tournament arc, or are you including things like fucking Yu-Gi-Oh, right?
Totally counts, I feel like, because, like, that is that story's main form of like conflict is the card game,
right? But it is also nothing but tournament arc, basically.
Yeah, until you get to
except for the last season.
Yeah, the last season, or the first half of the last season, only in the anime though. The fucking KC Cup or whatever.
That's season 4. Well, yeah, I guess that is technically season 5, the KC Cup part. Yeah, no, Dark Tournament kind of is like the best to ever do it, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's hard to top.
Okay.
I was trying to think of one. I just kept thinking of the bad tournament arc, which is the start of Dressrosa.
Oh yeah, no, that
I was like,
good.
I was thinking like, what's the tournament arc? I was like, oh, there's the first half. There's like the first third of Dressrosa, which sucks and is boring. It stars a bunch of dipshits.
It's not quite a tournament, but it's close enough. The Sky Tower arc in Hunter x Hunter is also pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Brita John Herzog asks, what's the least you've wanted to continue the main quest line in a video game? Oh, geez.
I think it's Skyrim. Like, I just did not care about the main quest at all at a certain point. Like, I just did whatever.
It might be Fallout 3 for me.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Ah, shit. I think it might be Fallout 4 for me, actually.
I was, like, actually debating between Fallout 3 and Fallout 4.
As soon as I got to the instant reveal, I was like, oh, I think I'm just going to wander around. Actually, I don't really care about any of this shit.
The thing that's sort of, for me, tugs it over into Fallout 3 versus Fallout 4 is that Fallout 4 had several... I think to its favor, had several paths that it considered main storyline.
That's true. You could go a lot of different ways.
And I think, like, for me, that was more interesting than having a super mutant tell me, no, you have to be irradiated. It's your job.
One of the
Fox, why would you do this?
Funniest fucking... like excuses anyone has ever written.
It's really funny.
Just like completely fucking nonsensical.
So funny. Nope. It's your job to die here.
Why the fuck would Fox care about my predestined death here? Why would he give a shit?
Yeah, no, that was that. I mean, yeah, and just like in general, like I do not. Fallout 3's main storyline is very narrow, and it was one that did not. Right, again, like Fallout 4, you at least had some amount of choice.
Yeah.
In the path you took to the end. None of them were great choices, but at least you had like some like agency in like what you were doing, and there's none of that in Fallout 3. And it's just like, well, I don't care about this. Like, I don't care about my dad because you didn't build that up at all. Like, I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, for sure. It's just like you follow the critical path and you just do it.
Yeah. DC's a shithole anyway. Fuck this. Sidewinder Sabrina asks, have you noticed that Galvatron has become extremely aggressive and hyper-controlling ever since he has been hearing the Devil's Whispers?
That's true. He does hear Unicron's voice in his head now.
Yeah.
There's an orb in space that talks to him, and everyone's like, should we be concerned about this? And Starscream says, no. It's fine. I forgot about his devil-powered GPS.
Yeah. Opinions on the alien announcers in that episode?
They aren't aliens. They're robots. They're Metabots.
Yeah. And they're also they're not aliens, they're AI. And I mean, at a very base level, they're cute robot girls, so I like them.
Yeah.
They are also cheap.
Completely inexplicable.
Yeah, they're also cheap Kodo and Jury knockoff, so it's like, who actually cares? Has Mirage officially joined Snowcat and Demolisher as a member of the Blowjob Brothers? Yep, we talked about that.
Yeah, they have been united together.
Do you think the action sequences have got any better than the earlier ones in the series?
No.
Yeah, no, no.
I mean,
honestly, if anything, they've actually gotten worse because there's now so many cooks in the kitchen.
And also, even less is happening. At least in the early parts, they were blowing up a bunch of Terracons. Now, like, nothing gets done, and like everyone just leaves. Like, okay,
again,
part of the thing about Galvatron being an idiot, right, is like, I'll deal with Optimus myself, and he constantly takes L's every single time. But next episode, he's right back to us like, aha, I will kill Optimus with my own bare hands.
To be fair to him, he has reason to think that would work given the number of times Optimus dies.
That's true, but
Optimus does not have a good track record here. Like, Galvatron is correct to think that he's kind of chump change to kill.
But he doesn't understand that the only reason Optimus dies so much is because he keeps being an idiot and killing himself on accident. Like, he's not actually falling in battle. He keeps, like, actively setting himself on fire, or giving himself a heart attack, or exploding, or getting stink gassed. Like, it's not actually. It's Energon Optimus. They really are made for each other. A complete dipshit like fight boy, and a dude who can't stop accidentally dying.
Yeah. Ruby Road Rage asks, who are those announcers? Are they even Transformers? No, they're AIs. Are they just some Catgirl figure arts robot dolls kidnapped from some unnamed planet that will never be mentioned? Nope, they're AI. I mean, that's it. They're a computer program.
The fucking SH figure arts planet. It's like how it's like fucking Nebulon, but everybody just looks like a robot cat girl.
Yeah. Geitz asks, how often do you think a power link ends with both sides turning into the top half?
This is why communication is important in any relationship.
Certainly, it never happens if they're lesbians.
And they were both tops.
And so they were both bottoms.
No, it's the other way. Yeah, I need to see a double pants power link. I need to see what the fuck that looks like.
Cartwheeling for their life.
Yeah, does anybody even talk? Can you talk as pants?
Do you know that that video of the guys on the beach who are doing infinite cartwheels because they're basically 69ing each other?
Yeah,
it's that.
What a powerful technique.
It's that. It's actually a really cool video. I made it sound crass because that's like the easiest way for me to describe the position that they're in. But like it is actually a very cool video. Um, Chet asks, how many of the guys in the simulation are AI and how many are real? Did the Autobots somehow virtually revive Shock Blast through this program?
No, okay. I don't know if they mentioned this in the dub, but in the sub, they definitely say Shock Blast is fake, and also Six Shot like deletes him.
Yes, they do mention that, but basically everyone who is still alive is real, and having their own personal training program.
No, I don't think so. I think Optimus is fake.
You think Optimus is fake?
The only ones that are real, and this is where it gets even stranger. Okay, it's Rodimus and Hotshot. We know them because they're playing.
Yeah.
It's Galvatron and Starscream. Ironhide. It's Galvatron, maybe. I'm not actually sure. It's Galvatron and Starscream, and it's Cyclona, or it's Demolisher and Snowcat. Those are the only ones that... Oh, and also Six Shot. Those are the ones we know are real. Unclear how the Decepticons got in. Unclear how any of this is actually happening.
I thought it was that they had separate programs and that they were both doing it simultaneously in their own separate programs.
That is certainly an answer.
Yeah.
Which is never provided.
Great. Is this tournament episode doing a better job of marketing the toy line than the rest of the show itself?
Yes! It is literally because they actually show the combiners combining. Like, you'd think by this point in the fucking franchise, they'd understand that the point of selling combiner toys is that you show them combining into a big cool robot. But the main show fails to do that every single week. But this one actually does. And it also shows you can do a bunch of silly stuff with like the power link stuff. Like, oh, you can make two tops, two bottoms. It's funny.
Sabrina asks, has Optimus finally accepted his fate as the number 1 fight guy / combat freak?
No. He is okay. Like we were saying earlier, he just keeps dying by accident. He's kind of like I don't know what he's up to. He's mostly just an asshole for no reason.
Yeah, kind of sucks.
Like, I wish it was more of the energy of like fucking violent sicko, like end of Armada, last episode, I'm gonna let loose. Like, that shit ruled. But no, instead we get an Optimus who sets himself on fire all the time and needs power-ups to do anything.
Aurora Energon asks, I got serious whiplash watching that 3rd episode this week. Y'all know if there are any shows that drop a random unrelated episode between an ongoing story arc?
I don't think any show ever does this.
Yeah, this isn't a thing that is done normal in narratives.
It's the only other thing that I remember is actually from Cybertron, the sequel show to this. It's a little different though. So the actual last broadcast episode of Transformers Cybertron in the States is, for some reason, I don't know how it happened, but it's just like it's like episode like 7 of Galaxy Force, and it's just like a nothing episode where like they fight a forest fire or something. It's completely, it's not like the Scorponok episode where it being missing is like, it creates gigantic plot holes. But it's just a weird thing where that was technically the last episode ever broadcast for Cybertron in the States. And there was no reason. I think it was like advertised as a lost episode, which is really funny. I don't know why, but that's the only other thing that I can think of where like something weirdly out of order happened. And I can't think of anything outside of Transformers that ever did that, because they're doing that is crazy.
I literally the only thing I can think of that like comes close is like Endless 8.
Like,
which was on purpose.
Yeah, like it's just, I guess you could technically say filler arcs, but usually filler arcs happen after an arc is finished. Like, they don't normally, or
at least they happen like after a section of an arc is finished.
Yeah, like there are parts of the One Piece anime where they have the like
and Bleach,
the historical, and Bleach. For One Piece, they have like a historical Boss Luffy episode, like 1 or 2 episodes every few seasons, where it's like it's like the characters running around in like feudal Japan, and those pop up after like reasonable breaks, like after a mini arc is it makes sense.
I think there are differences to me between stuff like fillers placed in like normal places and it's like, hey, what Wait.
Yeah, this just fucking lands. And once again,
Yeah.
there's no context at all.
Yeah. Could you kick the ass of a past version of yourself from like a few years ago? I mean,
Yeah.
maybe. I mean,
How far are we talking?
I think a few years. So say 3 years.
3 years.
So I think the reality is that both of us would cower away from a physical fight. But if push came to shove,
You talk your own stuff. I'd beat my own ass. I don't care.
oh no, sorry.
throw
By
it
both
down.
of us, I meant me and my past self.
Okay. I was about to say, speak for you. Hold
Oh,
your own.
I am. I'm speaking for
will-
me and myself. And I think both of us would shy away from actual physical confrontation. That said, if push came to shove, I'm probably a little heavier and I make more money now, so who knows?
Yeah. I have more worldly experience. That motherfucker's going down.
Finally, a few questions from Nero from Disney Minus. What's the name of the new guy? He didn't say it enough to care for it to stick in my head. No, seriously, I genuinely forgot what his name was.
Yeah, once again, actually very funny running gag in Superlink of people just like not remembering Superion's name.
Yep.
The rule of threes. The last one is like I think it's Kicker who forgets his name twice, and then the last one is Cliff Jumper. Superion saves Cliff Jumper and he goes, "Oh hey, thanks." And Superion just kind of looks at him, and Cliff Jumper says, "Superion." And Superion like smiles.
Whatever happened to Kicker's other bike friend? Is he just an honorary member of the past Optimus Power-Up support group? Does he sit next to the cardboard cutout of Armada Jetfire while listening to Wing Saber talk about how Padlock would have been the ultimate Optimus Power-Up? Wasn't it the Minicons?
It was Highwire. It was a major character for the previous it's just vanished. The Energon Saber has also mostly vanished. You see, he just got a cooler bike.
I mean, RC is pretty cool. Comparatively to characters in the series, RC is pretty cool.
Yeah. He's like, all right, so I could either ride around on this fucking dinky little BMX bike. And I think he's like I think he turns into like a motorized dirt bike now, but still, so I can either get like a motorized dirt bike that turns into a guy who makes beep boot noises, or this sweet fucking bike that turns into a cute girl. Which one am I taking? It's not the beep boop guy. Bye Highwire.
Yeah, he didn't even forge a hero's bond with him anyway. That was Rad and Co.
Exactly. Why isn't Highwire hanging out with Rad? And yeah, the other two members of the Street Action team are just they're just not they only show up when Perceptor is on screen for like half a second in the show.
Well, one of them at least has a government job.
That's true.
And finally, last question. Will the weed-smoking lesbians return in Transformers Energon Endgame? No, we're never seeing these bitches again.
Nope. Actually, they do show up in the Transformers Legends manga, but that's just like a big
Okay.
It's like everyone's in Legends. It's like a big referential gag fest. It's basically like a manga version of this episode of like distribution, but just kind of applied to the whole franchise.
Yeah, the fucking Shinji Rising project of Alright, well, we've been Prime Cuts. You can find us on Prime Cuts Pod on Twitter and on noisepace.xyz along with a bunch of really other great shows. I'm Audrey. You can find me on Tumblr, Twitter, and Blue Sky, not co-host anymore. Rip. At Optimum on Prime, which is my funny robot internet joke. And you can listen to the other podcasts I do called Pot of Greed, and that one's about Yu-Gi-Oh!
How close are you guys to finishing 5Ds?
I don't know. I haven't been on in like a month. Oops.
Well, someday you will meet a glowing nude alien.
Oh, when we get to
Zexel.
Zehol. Did you like that? Did you like my pronunciation of Zehol?
I'm Nero. You can find me on Twitter pronouncing Zexel. Maybe not correctly, but in...
No, Zexel is the correct way to say it. Anyone who gets on my ass for saying Sexel instead of Zehol when we get there is catching both of these hands. Oh,
like,
you know exactly who would.
I'm on Twitter, Dragon Smoocher on Tumblr. That's Cyclones with a 5 at the end of it. I have some other projects in the works coming up soon. But hey, instead of watching Transformers Energon, you could Transformers 1 go to the theater. Transformers 1. It's good. You should watch it if you hadn't already. But I feel like most of the people who listen to this have already watched it.
But genuinely, if you haven't, it has gotten less viewership than they thought that it was going to get. And it's a good movie, and I would like to see a sequel. So if we could,
I lay all of the blame for that on their dog ass marketing department.
Oh yeah, no, the trailer was just like all the worst parts of it, genuinely, and like not even the worst parts of it, but like just the like parts of it taken out of context and therefore much less money.
The parts of it that make it look like a generic kids movie, like it makes it look like an Illumination movie, basically.
Listen, Optimus Prime almost gives someone the finger.
He does. I was like, damn, they almost went there.
Yeah, like really, like the finger was coming out. So if that doesn't convince you to watch this movie, I don't know what will. Also, it is like very satisfying, even knowing what happens, like watching Megatron become Megatron and it like being like, why are you booing her? She's right.
Yeah.
Like the whole time is like cool. Also, the High Command was fun.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Steve Buscemi.
He did a good job. I'm not gonna lie. Like was a good choice for like if you had to choose a major celebrity to play Starscream, Buscemi's probably about as good as you're going to get.
Yeah, he's definitely up there on my list. I don't know actually who else would I cast other than him. I guess it would depend on like how slimy of a Starscream we're talking, because like obviously Buscemi high up on the slime meter for that kind of character. But like if you want like a more straightforward Starscream, I'd probably cast like somebody else. But I can't bring anyone to mind at the moment.
Like Rick Moranis, maybe.
Holy shit! Wow, that's a beautiful image.
Rick Moranis Starscream could be pretty good.
Oh my god, yeah, that's like high like it's like the Starscream political compass. I don't know what all the other two quadrants are, but one of them is slimy and one of them is neurotic.
Yeah. I think Rick Moranis could be a good Starscream.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. All right. Well, until next time, I am going to go through my full stock footage combination sequence for literally no reason after the show is over.
But not really.
In Transform and Roll Out.
Oh god. I'm gonna deploy all of my exact same models so they could all move in one unit and just absolutely ruin the lag time of my StarCraft game. Transform and Roll Out.
8 more episodes. Peach.
Transformers, more than meets the eye. Transformers, more than meets the eye. Transformers, robots in disguise.
Transformers.